Millions of children from all around the world have grown up with the tales of superheroes fighting supervillains and have been inspired by these tales. And this is the inspiration for my what if question: what if scientists could make superheroes? My name is Shrey Kumar, and I've done the research to tell you what would happen. So, to start off, superheroes are people with superhuman abilities. These abilities can range from anything from super speed to super strength to shooting webs out of their hands. These abilities are known as phenotypes, which are physical characteristics. These physical characteristics can be anything ranging from skin color to hair color to even the amount of arms a person has. And a person's phenotype is usually defined by their DNA, or their deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is a person's genetic information, and it contains blueprints for what a person is going to be, and is found in every cell in a person's body. So using DNA, cells make proteins and construct the blueprint that DNA provides. And so basically, scientists have to change a person's DNA in order to create superheroes. And I'm sure you're sitting there wondering, you just can't change a person's DNA. They are born with their DNA, and scientists just can't change that in every single cell in a person's body. Well, I'd like to show you what happened to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson started off with darker skin, but then due to a virus, his skin turned from dark to really white. So, what if scientists could make a man-made virus similar to that of what happened to Michael Jackson? And so, using this virus, scientists can unravel strands of DNA, change up the nucleotides and base pairs, add in more base pairs, and basically mess with the person's DNA and phenotypes. What this would do is it would lead to the creation of superheroes. Scientists can basically make any superhero that comes to mind. They can make a person with blue fur and blue skin with super strength, or they can make a person with claws. And so naturally, when this technology becomes available to the public, it is going to cause a lot of controversy. And that brings me to the social conflicts part of my speech. So what's going to happen is there's going to be some rich person who gets superpowers. And then their powers run amok, and they cause an accident. And many innocent lives are either put in danger or they are lost, unfortunately. And so this sparks a debate between one side, which says that that this should be illegal, or there should be more restrictions placed on making superheroes, and the other side, which states that people should have free reign to make their superpowers. So there will be a debate going on in Congress and all around the world. But after this debate is settled, it is clear what's going to happen next to the world socially. What's going to happen is, because making superheroes is very expensive and is very complicated, what's going to happen is only the upper classes and the rich people are going to have access to this technology. And so the rich people are going to be superheroes. They're going to be healthier, they're going to be physically stronger, they're going to be smarter, they're going to excel in sports and in academics. So superheroes are going to be above normal people in the social hierarchy, and superheroes are the rich people. So the social hierarchy changes from having a lot of classes, the upper class, upper middle class, lower middle class, working class, and lower class, a lot of these classes which have very minor differences between each other, to just having basically two major classes: the superheroes, or the rich people, and everybody else. So government workers will be at the top, then rich people who aren't working for the government, and then everybody else, the working class, the people at the bottom. I took a picture from George Orwell's 1984 to illustrate this, because George Orwell's 1984 will be more relevant later on. But what's going to happen government-wise? How is the government going to use this technology to create superheroes? Well, we currently know that governments are currently spending billions of dollars every single year in order to create robot exoskeletons. And these robot exoskeletons are going to be used on the average foot soldier in order to increase their capabilities. Such capabilities include giving them the ability to lift heavier objects, or the ability to run faster, or giving them more endurance. So when the ability to make superheroes comes along, you know that governments around the world are going to be exploiting this technology for the better. They're going to create superheroes. So instead of making a robot exoskeleton to lift heavy objects, what they're going to do is they're going to mix the DNA of the average soldier with that of a gorilla, so they have the strength of a gorilla. Or they're going to mix that average soldier's DNA with that of a cheetah, so they have the speed of a cheetah. And this is already being examined in pop culture with movies like Captain America, where a normal soldier goes from normal to being almost like a superhero. And so just imagine if this technology was in governments nowadays. Imagine if the Syrian government had this type of technology and the ability to make these super soldiers. I guarantee that there won't be a rebellion anymore in Syria because the rebellion will be crushed due to super soldiers. And so moving on, what's going to happen to the economy? How is the environment going to fare? Well, currently, the world is about to face an energy crisis. There's an increasing demand for energy such as oil, but there's a decreasing amount of these energies. And the world is about to face an energy crisis because of this. But some people have foreseen this, and they've been coming up with alternate sources of energy. But the most promising of these pieces of energy is nuclear power. But it still hasn't really gained that much of a following yet, because people are afraid of the side effects of nuclear power. The thing about nuclear power is that if the nuclear reactor melts down, what's going to happen is that the people nearby the reactor are going to suffer and become less healthy due to nuclear radiation. But in my research, I recently discovered that there are 107 genes, which, if given to a person, would render that person completely immune to nuclear radiation. That is huge. So, if people around the world started getting these genes due to scientists changing their DNA, what would happen is nuclear power would be known as more safe. Nuclear power would gain more of a following. Nuclear reactors are going to be more prominent around the whole world. And our energy crisis is going to be solved. But at what cost? The environment also suffers from nuclear radiation. And you can't just change the DNA of the environment and give it nuclear-resistant genes. And so there's going to be more nuclear reactors, which would make more nuclear meltdowns, which would cause for the environment to become radiated and for the environment to erode and basically not be usable anymore. So, what point have I been trying to bring across during this whole TED Talk? So, what if scientists could make superheroes? The creation of superheroes would cause for an increase of the higher classes' physical capabilities, leading to a gap in power between various social classes and the creation of a utopian society after environmental collapse. So to put that in other words, what's going to happen is nuclear power is going to become rampant, the environment is going to collapse due to nuclear power being misused, and then governments are going to be forced to take over the environment and regulate businesses so they won't pollute as much and things like that. And eventually the government is going to start taking over people's freedoms as well. But the people won't be able to rebel against the government because the government has super soldiers and a lot more advanced technology to crush any rebellion that the people might throw up against the government. And lastly, the change in social classes is going to cause for the people at the top to think they're better than the people at the bottom, and for there to be basically two major social classes. So we are going to be under a real-life version of what George Orwell predicted in his novel 1984, where the average man has no freedom and governments are controlling everyone, except the superpowers. That is what's going to happen if scientists could make superheroes. My name is Trey Kumar, and thanks for listening.